Corruption is a cancer, is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in the country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
Again, I'm still here on the project, building capacity around my mouth, but I got something to back it up. What do you think? Let's discuss it.
Corruption is a cancer, is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in the country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
Montagne est à Moumouye, ça va bien pour moi, il faut. Mais là, le caillou, quand on soit du roi, allez, envoyez, bâti au roi, et là-haut, avec la le caillou, vivito Jobai, vivito Namba, Martissimo caillou, Manager Gigi. Ouais, t'es jamais forcé. Si tu connais, tu connais. L'animateur Choco, Noska, Yassin de Toyebi. L'homme a tout fait pour Mivito. Aniché les deux.
Corruption is a cancer, is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in the country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
Good evening, folks. Samson to Liberian Pub Radio. I want to thank all of you again for tuning into Liberian Pub Radio. Thank you. We appreciate it. So wonderful thing to have you here again this evening, where we're here to discuss issues affecting our country, of course, and any other thing that's on your mind. We will ask you later on to see what is on your mind. But thank you for joining us. We really do appreciate all of you that continue to tune into Liberian Pub Radio. Because of you, we appreciate everything, your support and everything else. Safety. Lord Jesus, we want to thank you for your continuous guidance. We want to thank you for blessing. We want to thank you for everything that you do for us. Thank you, my Lord. Thank you. We have nobody else to count on but you. We come to you if we have problems. We come to you if we don't have problems. We still come to you. Because why? You are our Father. We know that, we recognize, and we accept, and we know you are the Father. My Lord, those of us that know you will continue to praise you. We'll continue to come in this public forum where we will say, thank you for all that you have done. And thank you for all that you continue to do. My God, people might ridicule us, but it's not going to deter for us to stand here and say publicly that thank you. Indeed, you are a wonderful God. For all our brothers and sisters that are not well, we ask you to lay your hands on them. For all our brothers and sisters that are in trouble, my God, they are in your hands. My God, help them. For those brothers and sisters that are not with us tonight, come to the family heart and heal the family. My God, we ask you again to come and bless all of us. Thank you. If I were to sit here tonight and start telling people the good thing that you have done for me, I don't think this show has any hours for me. I will be here for 24 hours because that's how great your power is. That's how great you are to us. Thank you. Give us the wisdom. As we come before our brothers and sisters again tonight to discuss, please help us guide our thought. Whatever is in our mind, we're human beings like any other person, but we ask to guide what comes out of our mouth. If there's anything we're going to say that is of jealousy, take it away from us. If anything comes out of our mind that is of hate, take it away from us. Because you have the power to do that. And we will continue to rely on you to give us the strength, to give us the wisdom, to give us the free mind to speak our mind. And thank you for that. My Lord, as we come on air, we say thank you. We also want to say thank you for the Republic of Liberia. We ask you to bless the Republic of Liberia. We ask you to bless the leadership of the Republic of Liberia. Give them wisdom to do what is good for our people. My Lord, we ask you to bless the host country, the United States of America. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, folks, Samson told Liberia Radio. We're here again tonight, as usual. We will be on here having some serious discussion. And many of you that are listening, please stay with us. Share this video as much as you can. Share this video for us as much as you can, because we would really like for you to share this video. So let's go ahead. Let's go. I forgot my bottle of water in the place there. But anyhow, let's go ahead and have a conversation. Welcome, Samson to Liberia Public. Conversation with Samson to live on LPR. Very shortly here, we have all our tools in place. The new tools we got for this particular project that we're getting right on back on. It's all in place, all of new equipment, everything set. We will be here to be able to do some technical conversation. And many of you who are not technically inclined, we will make it so that you will enjoy it. We will make it so that you will participate, because there's nothing to it. If they total man can go through it, I don't see people, I beg you. Everybody that watching me, they're smarter than me, who will not go through it. So, but we will do our best. We'll do our best. And we will go on to have that discussion. Folks, there's some issues in Liberia that was a little bit concerning. But those of us who believe in God and believe in his son, Jesus Christ, as our Savior, all we have to do when these things come to mind, or when these things react their ugly hair, we just praise God and say thank you. We'll put everything in God's name. And God will continue to protect President Bakar and his people to do the right thing. There was this, I've been watching this thing here for the last almost a week now, where the AFL wives were demonstrating. And I was thinking to myself, at first, I thought it was just something of a joke. And so I thought to myself, okay, well, they will find out that whatever it is they're asking, the government of Liberia don't even have money to do anything right now. So they will recognize that, and they will most likely come to themselves and take it as it is. But for some reason now, things are not getting the way they're supposed to be. And so things came to a head, I think yesterday or so, when the people decided to block those who go into the airport. They decided to block the Rawafi Highway. And I was thinking to myself, okay. But then I saw Jeremiah Cone, the picture that I saw on the social media. I saw Jeremiah Cone, who was there to talk to them. I said, okay, because I've seen this type of story play out before. During Madam Celine time, where she was able to convince them to see reason to cooperate with, to work with her. So I thought, okay, well, Jeremiah Cone is there. And so I believed that things will go well. And I thought, okay, things will go well. So, but little did I know that things were going to be a little bit hectic. And they decided to block the highway leading to the airport. And I thought to myself as well that this is not something that we would normally do. What's going on here? Then I said, Samson, this politics. People are testing the incoming administration to see whether they have the will within them to engage them. They have two ways of going about this. They can either engage in, power, use power, political power to engage them, and that this is a country of law. If you have issues, you follow the proper channel, and then you're going to have to be removed forcibly. And then the other one said, no. The president of the Republic of Liberia, he has experience. He's much more experienced. He's the father of the nation. So I thought to myself that the father side of the nation will overwhelm the presidential side, which is we are the president. I am the president. I am the chief commander-in-chief, and so therefore, so eventually they decided to. But before that, according to the story, and let me just read this thing here. Let me just read it here. Okay, follow me. There's two of them I'm gonna read. It's a mutant on Armed Forces Day. The annual Armed Forces Day celebration, scheduled for February 11, that was yesterday, has been canceled because of dissatisfaction among officers of the Armed Forces of Liberia, not their wives alone, officers of the Armed Forces of Liberia. Impeachable sources told the Daily Observer early morning, all the country's barracks are currently on lockdown. The decision to cancel the event was made by officers who have been expressing their grievances through their wives, who have blocked several major roads and arteries leading into the in and out of Monrovia. The decision to have the event canceled was reached among officers who have been protesting through their wives for more than a day or so, or a day or two ago, but was relayed to the president, who is commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the army, Sunday night, when the commander of AFL visited his home in rehab. Members of the AFL High Command who slept outside the home of the president last night informed him about the high security risk that are currently hovering over the army, and that officers have particularly become disgruntled and are no longer taking instruction from their superior, a situation that has a likelihood to spill out of control. Dangerous situation. Dangerous situation. Protests against Major General Prince Johnson appointed intensified. The army officers have been indirectly protesting through their wives against the bad labor practices, low incentive, inadequate housing, and a lack of proper retirement program for officers. The officers have also accused the former chief of staff, Major General Prince C. Johnson, of corruption and embezzlement, with specific reference to funds that were intended for servicemen who were serving on peacekeeping missions, especially in Mali. They are calling for his nomination. They are calling for his nomination as Minister of Defense to be revoked, though he has already been confirmed by the Senate. Last week, AFL stormed the ground of the Capitol building, urging members of the Senate not to confirm retired General Prince Johnson third as defense minister. However, the protests against the appointment of Major Johnson as Minister of Defense have intensified across the country, spreading to the barracks in Banga, Tori, Zwadru, Ravelsfield Highway, and other parts of the country. The wives and widows of the armed personnel are blocking road and calling on President Bakar to call for the resignation of Major General Johnson. The women allege that he denied their husband certain benefit and incentive during his time as chief of staff of the armed forces of Liberia. The officers who want the government to craft a good welfare plan for the AFL, considering good salary policy on retirement and death benefit, as well as good housing and medical services. We want to tell the government that we have been living a destitute life, and this must come to an end. The army should be a place of respect, an officer told the observer. Sadly, we are not seeing that. We are now prepared to stand up. We will stand up until the right things are done. Dangerous situation, folks. Dangerous situation. He said all the barracks across the country are on lockdown, and that the officers are prepared to put their lives on the line for the well-being of them and their family. Enough is enough. We have been played with too much. We must put this to an end, he said. So we decided that none of our men will step foot to parade. Angry men don't parade. Men and women in the army have no interest in having a public welfare fanfare when they are particularly living a destitute life. Folks, things that's getting desperate and dangerous. The officers have expressed their readiness to protest until these issues are addressed. President Bakar is currently engaged in negotiation with the officer, but a resolution has not yet been reached. Additionally, the officers are disappointed by what they perceive as a deceptive move by Vice President Jeremiah Cohn, who they claim used a supposedly discussion with the protesting wives as an excuse to penetrate the blockade on the Rafi Highway to travel to Nigeria. The government is starting on a very bad note, and it is not good for them. Jeremiah Cohn sent words through Lofa County Senator and Chairman on the Senate Committee on Defense that he wanted to discuss with our wives. Later, we know that he only wanted a passage, as he did not have any substantive substantive with the protester, and left for Nigeria. Meanwhile, the situation remains tense with traffic disruption in Monrovia and other parts of the country. Folks, this is getting it's not something that I take lightly. And because of this, I will give you my own little story that I know. If things start happening like this, those of us that were alive and at the time and still living, of course, thank God. But back in 1979, at the ending of 79, my little brother was in the army. Him and when you go to the barracks those days, they have the front line like this, the building. They have the building when you pass the BOQ, okay? The first building you look at is for the army, and the second building on the right of that is for the band members. So on that first building, my brother had a room like this, and Thomas Kuomba also has a room like this, and behind there They have the way they have the rooms is 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and that's a section. So in the back of that, of those 2 front row, they have Jerry Friday and Swan Dixon was on the other side as well. I know these because I used to be in the bar to play checker with them. So I know these people well. Anyhow, but I was also, like I've been saying here, I was also involved in being a foot soldier of PAD. So I was also attending PAD meetings. So late 79, after the rice riot, I was there from the beginning. From the beginning, I wasn't there at the end. I had to scatter. I have to leave. That's a very young person as well. Very young, very, very young. But anyhow, so at the end of 79, beginning January and stuff like that, of 80, Toba and two-way party. I remember this very well. Toba had gone to Nima. I don't know quite what month now, but Toba had gone to Nima. And E. Reginald Thompson was left in charge as the head of state. So when Toba got back that evening, E. Reginald Thompson was then making report to Toba on live on ERBC and said, Mr. President, and I still remember these words very well because, like I said, I was a first soldier. I was, you know what grade I was in? Okay. Nothing fast. English, sir. I don't even know, let alone. But there was a lady that I was working with at the Ministry of Education, Madam Bertha Baker Ezango. This lady I would never forget. She was my mom anyhow, because I used to stay with her. I stayed with her for years. So she was a mother for me. So when I got a little babe, tendency of I wanted to be in the street of Monroe. So I was young. She said, Samson, you're too young to be in this. I said, Ma, I want to experience the street. She said, okay. But you got to go to Tota. I said, yeah, Ma, I'll go to Tota. She gave me money to go to Tota. I took the money. I went on Camp Johnson Road. The street light was it. I was in the street. But when she find out I was selling, I got to tell you all these things now. First I was selling, there's a store, Spaniard store that sells liquor and fish carp and all those kinds of Spanish food, seafood, stuff like that. Pig, hog legs and things like that. They have the Spanish store. And underneath Wilmot Stubberfield Father House, they have another store where they sell shoes and everything else. So the guy that owned that, he was just about the same age as I was, but he owns the place. So he convinced me to leave the Spanish store and come and work for him. They call him Lucky, to come and work for him underneath Wilmot Stubberfield place where they have the store. So I was working in the store. I worked there, and the agreement I had with him was, you know me, I like zooting. So he will pay me $36 a month, okay? Since he and myself were about the same size, I say, all your old clothes that you don't want, you sell them to me, half of the $36. And the other 36, I want half of that other one in shoes. Oh, Samson, though. As I'm telling you now, emotional setting, because I used to zoot because of E.J. Rod. Forget school. School for what? School to do what? What going to school for? I want E.J. Rod. I got to dress. So I was working in the store. I think at the end of the month, most of the time, I carry like maybe $15. The rest of the $30 or so, it's clothes and shoes. So anyhow, one day, Madam Bertha Baker's uncle and my brother, I'm not going to call his name now, and my brother in Houston came by the store for her to buy her shoes. So, when you're in a store, they have the glass, because most of the items are behind the glass, and most of the glass, they're concave, and you can, when you stand in a particular spot, you can see all the way in the street where the people are selling book on Benson Street. And when you're on the other side, you can see all the way up Benson Street. So one day I was just sitting there, I looked in the mirror, I saw my mom and this boy coming in. I said, So I hit myself. And she came. She said, how much that shoes? So the guy, the 11 man, they call him Amat. Amat looked at me and said, what's going on with Samson? Why is he hiding? Okay, he didn't say anything. So he came from a place, he brought his shoe down, And the lady tried, Madam Zango tried his shoes. Said, I don't think I want those for now. Okay, that's it. So they left. But what have happened? My brother now, who is in Houston now, saw me, but he didn't say anything. So when they left, he said, Mom, I saw Samson in that store selling. Oh, he's a store boy. The woman said, No, I sent Samson to Total a long time ago. And Samson's not in Monterey. Said, Mom, Samson over there. I said, okay, let's go back. So they came back. When they came back to the store, the lady said, let me see that shoe again. So I came back down here. I hit myself because I saw them coming back. So the woman said, no, I want your store boy to help me to put the shoe on, to try the shoe on me. Samson toe was busted. But anyhow, after that same time, another guy that used to be a cadet in her office was going to BWI. So she was angry after renting and stuff like that. And what if you were to get killed in Monterey? How am I going to, what am I going to say to your parent? All kinds of stuff. I said, Mom, I'm okay. You going to school? I lied to her. I said, yeah, I'm going to school. So I almost called his name. So the guy been on my show here before anyway. So the guy said, Mom, ain't your office boy just what Samson care? So, thank you for telling me. Samson, come to the office Monday. I went to the minister. She was the deputy minister for development, planning and development. Madam Bertha Baker Ezango. Dr. Bole worked with her, for her, and Oliver, not Oliver Duncan, but Gonga, Oliver Gonga worked for her as well. So I'm not making these things up. Anyhow, so I went to the office the next day. Rest is history. I got a job. I was working. So when Dr. Bode came in, but before that, she used to make sure the like of Jackson F. Doe, when they come to the office to talk to her, she would call me in and say, you got to take this school business serious. This is Jackson F. Doe, a countryman, highly educated. Yeah, because, he grew up in Monterey until Dr. Bole came. When Dr. Bole came, I told you guys a story before. When Dr. Bole came, fair, light-skinned man, good afro. So she brought Dr. Bole in her office and they called me in. He said, Samson, me and Dr. Bole. I said, oh, hi, Dad. Said, it's not just Dr. Bole, he's a crime man. The only crime PhD I know in Liberia at that time was Trouble Bahai. I said, please, what kind of crime man would look at that? The man light skin, the man got long teeth, the man got afro. You finally there, why you would be crime big man? So Dr. Bole said, you don't find my. That was the end of my rebellion to education. But anyway, long story. So going back to this armed forces stuff here. I used to go to the barracks. I was working for Minister of Education. I was not member, but I was a first soldier pass. So I was much more involved in getting all kinds of information. So when they arrested Dr. Bole and Bacchus Mafia and the rest of the people, there was a rumor that they were getting ready to kill them. So my little brother came to me, said, we will not sit down. And my little brother have already been a meditate. Because we used to stay, when we were staying total, he used to see people that don't have money, tax money, and they tie their hand behind their bike and make them put their knee on the ground, on the rocks, and look in the sky. That never got away from him. And they used to put stake on their shin and tighten the stake. And these people will be yelling and screaming until somebody come to pay the money. That never got away from him. So when he was able to succeed in getting in the army, that militant part of it became, then the power came and stirred that up. So he said, we're going to free these people. Same type of thing, we're going to free. So I said, how are you going to free people? And he went on to tell me a lot more. So when these people start saying these things, we have to take it serious. We have to take it serious. The fact that in Liberia, you have the people who are working in the army. will come and make statements like I just read, this is something we have to take very serious. Let me read something else, Mr. Soul going in and out. Let me read something else. And I will play President Bakai audio here. Okay. This is a serious business. Okay. So the defense minister finally resigned, in the interest of freedom. In the interest of peace in Liberia. He resigned. And you can go on Daily Observer and you'll be able to read that. Okay. But the resignation, he resigned and denied eating anybody money. But anyway, let me go ahead while I'm still waiting for Mr. Soul, who will be joining me here very shortly. Let me go ahead and bring in, let me play the president's statement to the nation. This is very, very, very serious. And then after I play the president message goes about 5 minutes. After that, I will come back. And then hopefully the other panelists will be able to join me by then, and then we can discuss behind the scene. Samson told Liberian Radio.
Our fellow citizens, on Sunday, February 11, I received an audience from wives of some members of the armed forces of Liberia who had come to express their concerns on several issues. These issues included poor living conditions, high tuition fees for their children, lack of adequate medical care, and low salaries, among others. The women stated their most important demand was the removal of retired General Prince C. Johnson as Minister of Defense. They said their husband had told them that unless General Johnson was removed, there would be no Armed Forces Day celebration. We made it clear to the women that the government will look into their grievances regarding all the issues, but that retired General Johnson had been confirmed by the Senate and appointed by me as Minister of Defense. We were hence not prepared to discuss this issue. Meanwhile, we received throughout the day and night information that some of the armed forces' wives and their husbands had initiated protest actions across the country by blocking major roadways and highways. Others had engaged in agitations in barracks around the country. In an effort to prevent violence and preserve lives and properties, we ordered the Armed Forces Day celebration for today be reduced to a low-key program. We have since held consultations with our strategic partner, the United States, and other regional stakeholders on the situation. As a true soldier and a patriot, retired General Johnson, of his own volition, informed us that he would step aside if he were obstacled in order to save the AFL and preserve peace and tranquility in the country. General Johnson accordingly tendered his resignation to me earlier today. I have accepted the resignation and thanked the General for his sacrificial services, loyalty, and commitment to our country. Meanwhile, I have appointed Brigadier General Geraldine George as Acting Minister of National Defense. Fellow citizens, the issue raised by the armed forces' wives affect all sectors of our population throughout the country. We inherited these problems as we have been in office for barely 21 days only. The problems take on graver connotations when it comes to the military. The men and women in arms put their lives on line to defend and protect us. We must be extra sensitive to their plight. The Army is our collective national pride, and we must preserve its dignity. I have therefore appointed a special independent investigator to probe into these grievances and report to me within 2 weeks. We have also activated a board of inquiry to look into the case of several soldiers who were discharged from the AFL for various serious crimes but were said to be undeservedly pardoned and reinstated. We must never tolerate indiscipline and breakdown of order in the armed forces of Liberia. The reconstituted AFL had won the praises and admirations of the entire country for its professionalism and had become a source of national pride for us all. We cannot afford to indulge in anything that would dampen the morale of our soldiers and generate doubt and suspicion. On the other hand, our government will ensure that our military is well looked after. We should always think Liberia, love Liberia, and build Liberia. God bless the works of our hands and save the state.
All right, folks, that's the President of the Republic of Liberia, who has given us a new, fresh day of things, how a government's supposed to be. If you have a national issue such as these, you must address the nation, you must address your people, and explain to them what is happening. And I think the president, again, not only being a president, shown as a president, but he's a very good person. And I think by him bringing these things out, not necessarily uh, going to his pulpit in the church to talk about it on Sunday, but talk about it immediately as it happened for Liberians to understand. Don't wait until Sunday for God to lay hand on him before he will speak. This is what we fought for, and this is why we won, and this is what Liberian love, because this president, once again, as the critical situation as it is, as critical as this situation was, he was able to compose himself. And because of his calmness in leading, Liberians today are not that afraid. Liberians all over the country are now looking up to the president. He told us that in 2 weeks, the people that he set up to investigate will come back to tell us. Now, he's also, if you listen to that tape, he also explained the entire process why he thinks okay. So he told us the entire give an explanation of the entire process, what happened, what transpired. Now, he did not come in to point finger at certain people. He is now waiting until the investigation process is concluded. Then from there, he would then make his pronouncement as to what really happened and who are responsible. This is the kinds of leadership that we've been yearning for. This is the kinds of leadership that we've been singing and dancing for. So I'm happy tonight, folks, my brothers and sisters from all over the diaspora and even back home, that indeed we have arrived. We have a president who will now tell us as things are happening, will not keep us in darkness. Wait until Sunday and when God lay his hand on him to talk to us. Dr. Toto, good evening. Mark Moses, good evening. Mr. So, good evening. And thanks, Guy, for joining me. It's a wonderful thing to have this kinds of conversation happening. Those of us that are not that young will quite remember the 1980 and the army and what have you with respect to Liberia and the government Republic of Liberia. So these kinds of stuff, they are very sensitive, as the president correctly stated. Let me go to Mr. So. Mr. So, good evening. What do you make of all of these things that happen? Do you have additional information that perhaps you can provide for my audience to hear from you?
A lot. Let me adjust this. a lot, except that you don't want to be honest as usual. And so that's the problem we have on this network. And we will keep putting you people in check. For those of you who are so politically driven into this whole what is happening and not to speak to the minds of the Liberian people, it's not a surprise. I saw this coming. And nothing was done about it, including now the Cuban president, Joseph Boyka. This whole thing started on Helen Johnson's salute. Joseph Boyka is not strange to the scenario that is unfolding, except he has rep, and so it has to spill out.
Mr. So, thank you very much. Dr. Toto, let's hear from you.
Yeah, Libra, thank you so much. And let me greet my fellow panelists. Is and also Alfonso. What happened today? I'm a little bit disappointed into some of the decisions I was taking. And I think a week ago, I put a post about a viral incident that occurred today. And again, I'm a little bit disappointed on the decision I was taking today, but we'll go into detail.
Thank you. Mose, good evening. You're muted, sir.
Good evening, Dr.
Thank you.
Good evening, Deborah. Good evening, Saul. I'm just here to, let my 2 cents in on, some of the things that happened and from my professional experience to see how things that went on could be corrected in the future and what are some of the things that I think the government needs to take and the challenges that are ahead of this administration, 3 weeks into the administration.
Thank you. And Mr. So, let me come right to you because among us here, this is what you do for life. This is your profession, and we're not taking it lightly either. So in the time like this, where information is very crucial, we will seek your guidance on this one. No fun attended, and there's no fun being made either. I'm very serious. So you always preach here on this platform how important information gathering and information dissemination is very crucial. From that perspective, what do you make of the president's engagement today on this issue? I'm not talking about the root cause. I'm not talking about even the cause, but just the procedures of him engaging Liberian through the communication process. What do you make of that?
Okay, I'm going to disabuse you because you are trying to avoid a specific conversation from taking place. So you intend to do a salad dressing now. You do not want to know about the root cause. The root cause is what we need to tackle and what did we do.
I want you to lay out first.
We will come to the
root cause. Don't try to undercut my program. We will come to the root cause. I'm seeking your guidance and I'm seeking information as a media person. What do you make of the presentation? I'm talking about a presentation. We'll come to the root cause.
Okay, so let me just get you right. You see, this is the problem you people have in that country, and not just only the country here. You're seeking guardian and you want to tell me to have your way done. So you're not seeking guardian. You're trying to impose and sanction my views, my opinion, international conversation. I just want to put that out so that people will know how liberal and your attitude to liberalize this network here. But look, President Boyka has no choice. There's no other choice. That's what happens when the leader failed to perform his or her constitutional obligation. It was glaring. This thing was seen. He ignored it as a president, and that puts the security of the country at stake. We saw that for the very first time in history. Army wives, and I see people talking on different networks, like, they don't know what they are talking. Women assembled at the Capitol building to wear confirmations of this then minister designate now. The women went there. The video, yeah, they protested. They presented a petition, cautions the Senate committee. They're the Senate, they are also part of this problem. And they deliberately, on purpose, ignore that. President Boyka is not ignorant of what is going on. This thing started, it been creeping little by little. when he was serving as a vice president. I am not saying they are there, but this just when he was serving as a vice president, it did not reach that level of escalation, and Helen Johnson Sirleaf managed to quiet it down. When Johnson was designated as defense minister, the army wives made it crystal clear and outlined their points why this guy should not be minister of defense, and call on the Senate not to confirm. If they did, there will be consequences. But you know, the bamboo that want to die, it can't hear whistle sound. And you want to kind of like salad dress it and make it, put it in leadership. No leadership. He failed because he was told not, and he deliberately designated this guy to go there. But we're going to come to the detail. I know you are very uncomfortable now, and I'm sorry, you just have to deal with it. If you want to kick me out, it is your program. You will expose yourself to the audience.
Thank you, Mr. So. Since you refuse to answer that, I will just say this. In terms of the presentation, Dr. Barker got an A, complete A, no deduction, nothing. He did not wait until Sunday when God shall spoke to him. He decided to do it. He didn't wait for Sunday to go to the church and then start opening his mouth. No, he thought, so I gave him an A. Let's move on. That's why you are going to do us a favor here tonight and show us, you say you are an independent person, but you fail once again to show how independent you're supposed to be. You're coming out here talking about my president have failed. That's your opinion. You're entitled to it. What you're not entitled to is the truth. I tell you, you're going to show some independence here, but not by all means. No. Let me go to Dr. Tutu. Dr. Tutu, thank you very much. I know we all are very concerned. Before you guys came on, I was going on my own avatar here about since 1979. The army back in the 80s and my own involvement and what have you and things like that. So when these things, when they come to light, those of us that are not young are very concerned. But is there anything here from that's what they say. They want to know, what are you, crewman or not? Because you full of power.
Let me see.
Yeah, they make grow in Sino. You ain't know that? Let me tell you.
I'm from Poor River. If you know what they call Poor River in Sino, that's where I grew up.
They make grow in Sino. That way you follow confusion. But anyway, Doc, let me come to you. Let me come to you, Doc. I know this is a very serious situation here. But besides me going to all the other stuff, what is the major concern here, you think, if there's any?
Yeah, on labor, I think the major concern in the whole thing, the president in his speech in the Nation of Address, he lays the concern of the women or the army wives or the soldier wife. He listed their concern, But for me, looking back at what happened, I think there have been some other smell here, or some invisible here that beyond this obvious. They have been politically or interest for some people that have hidden hands. It is obvious, and that's where my disappointment came in. This is the open rebellion. You cannot sugarcoat it. This is the open rebellion. We are seeing the action of the women. If by all they have the right to protest, which is all of their constitutional right or their fundamental right to protest. But if you go on to protest to infringe on other peaceful citizen right by blocking rule, you stop in that movement, then it is not protest, it is an open rebellion. And there where I expect the government and the president or even the police should have taken some strong measure. But they didn't take that. I'm thinking also they should have taken some strong measure to calm down the situation because people's rights have been violated. Where other people's rights and the rights are from there also too. They went on to block it. They think we are turned on to either be a coup or mutiny or whatsoever they might happen today. But thank God, the president, in his own good wisdom, very sound, he handled this issue very maturely, and speak to the nation.
Doctor, you're speaking both sides of your doctorate degree right now. Can you come to the center and tell us what you want to say?
I already said what I wanted to say. I said I feel disappointed in the decision that was taken today by the president by accepting the resignation of the defense minister. It's one of my disappointments because if this continue, we'll give a room. Liberia has so many challenges. In case the police will have come out to, if you go to police academy, in Liberia recently, I went to the police academy. If you go to that side, you see how deplorable that police academy is. In case the police will have come out, they say we are protesting. The power of our paramilitary organization group, the fire service, the immigration, if they are wise, they come out and say we are protesting, then the government should buy into it too, because it's time for the army watch.
No, that the president spoke to that, and mostly before I come to you, the president spoke to that specific point where he said the army among us, they are people who are serving to protect us, and so in dealing with them.
Definitely, the army, not the only military organization that protecting lives and property.
I understand, but he was specific with that. The army issues are very sensitive. And so let us be careful. But let me go to Moses. Moses, let me come to you. I know we will deal with it because you're a security person. I know we'll come to that later. But I want you to talk to us from the handling of this whole situation, from the Senate to the president, the way both institutions, the executive and the lawmaking body, the way they handle it. And in fact, we heard today that the Speaker of the House of Representatives is now getting involved, trying to ascertain more information. What can you tell us in terms of the handling of this whole mess?
Well, I think, and thanks for the opportunity, Libera, and for my own studies and experience with politics in a different word, because when you spoke earlier, you alluded to 1980. I was a young boy at the time, and I know what went on in 1980. And after the coup in 1980, I think people cherish their military force. In fact, it started in 1979. When they had the Rest Riot. It was alleged that the police were the first to fire a gun towards innocent lives of teenagers and kill teenagers. So the sentiment in the general community against the police was not good. And then they said soldiers were the one who defended the peaceful citizens. So from 1989 until now, we've had some, things going on until 1989 when the war started. And coming from a post-war era, we see that when we talk about total anarchy, you have to start all over. And so some of the people who are in Liberia today don't even know of those experiences we had as young people growing up, as you alluded to. So they would not take the kind of precautions that is necessary. But let me say this, and then before we get to security, the Department of Defense and the military has a primary duty, and that's to defend and protect the country of foreign invasion. That's the definition of a military force. Anything that has to do with the military has to do with protecting the nation, borders and boundaries of invasion. And they're not supposed to interact with the security within the country until there's total anarchy and that the chief of staff or the commander-in-chief asks them to intervene. All of their instructions come from the commander-in-chief, who happens to be the president of the Republic of Liberia. So are we saying that the military don't know their duty? I can tell you that about a year ago, the military wives were after, and as Mr. Swords alluded to, this is an issue that's been fuming since the Ellen administration. How did Ellen handle it? We don't know if she handled it or not. But I know that in the WIA administration, the women, the armed personnel, retired women, were given certain fundings and benefits and did not receive the benefit, and they went after Findabondo. And they had two different groups. And they alleged that Findabondo were playing them against each other. Now, as Dr. Toto said, do we think there's some invisible hands on this 3 weeks into this administration? That's a legitimate concern, that there are some invisible hands in there that are filming this. But I think that the situation today was very damning for that country as far as security threat is concerned, and that the Army really needs to understand their duties, and that, in fact, when they wrote their position statement and sent to the Senate, I think their target should have been the Senate and not the president and not the nation, because the Senate confirmed and the president appoints. The president appoints and the Senate confirmed. So everything that they did today, blocking the streets, were totally out of hand and created a very serious national security threat. That's my own sentiment about it. But I think they need to focus on what the Army duties are, and that is to protect the country from invasion of other nations.
Okay. Let me go. Thank you, Moses. Let me go to Mr. So. Mr. So the president told us also that in 2 weeks, whatever he set up investigation that's supposed to be happening, 2 weeks they're supposed to be reporting to him. And if the report do come back and point fingers at certain group or certain members of the military, what do you think should be done?
Well, I am not a military advisor to the president to say this is what should be done.
I want your opinion. You always express your opinion. Yeah, you're never afraid to express your opinion. So don't express it.
Good thing President Boyka did not listen to Dr. George Toto. Other than that, the country would be in chaos today to tell police to put hands on military wives. Are you kidding me? You're gonna have a mad anarchy to lose upon the world.
Hold on.
Mad anarchy are gonna lose upon the world. I talked to two retired, one general and a colonel, one in the diaspora, and back home today with respect to get a sense what was going on. What is happening is not in isolation. All right, the military, they are aware. They are angry, but they are mad, they are upset, they are not happy. But there is a specific rule within the military. They themselves cannot do that. If they have done that, that is a mutiny, and they can be court-martialed. The head of that group can be court-martialed. When you see the military doing that now themselves, then it suggests either a coup is in the making that they want to overthrow. So what they did was to let their women to speak. And that's not the first time. I'll tell you, 2 weeks ago, over 500 Russian military wives, they went to Putin and told him, hey, our people have been in Ukraine for over a year now. They need to come home. And what happened? He yielded to them. Right here, 500 military wives, either they went to the state house here with their so-called abortion right. August the 12th, 2014, thousands of military wives in Nigeria. They stopped the Nigerian government, declared them that their husbands wasn't going to go fight against the Boko Haram because what was happening. So this is not an unusual thing. So what I'm saying here is this can be breeding gradually. Someone should have seen the signal, the sign of it. But this is what happens when people are so complacent and decide to just water down things. Oh, don't mind, you will not do anything. There's a video here. If you permit me later on, the break will play it. And when I saw that, I knew something was happening. But you know, our politicians, if it is in their interest, they don't care. These people went there and they demonstrated. They presented a petition to the committee responsible. And they asked, so are you saying somebody want to tell me that any of the advisors to the president or security advisor or nobody or the president, nobody came to the president didn't know that because it was very crystal clear that they never wanted these guys on all of these numerous counts that will continue to count. Reason why they do not want Prince Johnson. Let's do a little bit backtracking. Prince Johnson himself, as a former chief of staff, is very controversial. This is a guy who said that people call on him to overthrow a certain government. Chief of staff. You get text message, voicemail, people calling from America, from back home. What becomes of that? The same senators went there, they do it all kinds. If you did that in other countries, he potentially faces a court martial. He needs to come out clean. They didn't do it. And they told him, and yet and still, he was appointed and was confirmed. And they said, if they confirm him, this X, Y, Z war going to be happening. So it is indeed, this was orchestrated, it was well planned, and I can tell you, the husbands, they are aware because they cannot take the lead, because if they did, they would be court-martialed, they would be going against the military ethics, and so the wives decided to do that. But let's remember too, this guy, he made a careless statement. He's General Johnson, for God's sake, referring to these people as widows, wives of the widow. Why are you and I here when we are taking a flight? Who is, even if you bought a first-class ticket, who is the first person to call? Active duty men and women. It is a signal to our leaders. The tendency, I saw Samuel Jackson, who one of the longest serving person in government recently before I laid over, he was on Spoon Network. He was calling, he kind of demoralized the main fire service, leftover job. Fire service, people who rescue your life when there's a disaster. It's a learning point now, learning curve for us, that these paramilitary institutions, they need to be respected, whether they are uniform, any white or khaki, they need to be respected.
Thank you.
Liberal,
let's set the game rule here.
Yeah,
Mr.
Liberal,
Paul.
let me just something.
Yeah, hold on, Moses. I want to set the game rule. Mr. So, Terry have arrived, and therefore your speaking time has been cut in half. Let's get that straight. You're no longer going to have all of the time.
You see how you can put me in trouble with CEO?
Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
So the next make a point clear.
He are lying now, so I understand.
Let's go to Moses. Moses, go ahead. You said you wanted to make a point, that I'll come to you, Doc.
Yes, please. Let me just say this, Mr. Source. Granted that this thing has been fuming for a long time, and looking at the time factor, do you think that it was expedient 3 weeks into a new administration to make such demands without giving time for compromise, without giving time for consideration? That's my first question. The second question is that we know that, and don't blame Burkhardt for being the vice president, and I think you're trying to blame him and saying that he was aware of the situation and he should have taken action immediately. Given the many challenges in our country, there's so many things that needed to be. The government has not even been seated holistically. So how can we decide today to say that we're going to hold this administration responsible for things that happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago? And it's totally unfair for you to think that this thing should have been hindered and the Sorex coming and they should have put their point on it. Giving a petition is one thing. And I said that earlier. The president appoints and the Senate, confirms. Now, these women, most of the women, if you look at the previous operation of these women, most of them have considered themselves widows in the Joshua administration, widows of former military personnel. So it's not wrong to call them widows. They may have some other wives in it, and it's totally wrong for the. We know that protest is protest, but when you infringe on the rights of others during your protest, then that is wrong also, as Dr. Toto said, and as the American government said. That's not democracy, and that's not the rule of law. You want to protest, they will guide you to protest, and it's okay for the police to come and guide you, but I don't think they have refused them to protest. It was legal right to protest, but you don't infringe on the rights of the whole nation and create a sense of national security threat by blocking all the roads and taking the action that you took.
All right.
That does not cope with the consequences of what you needed to do.
Thank you. But Doc, go ahead, make it brief so I can bring Terry in as well. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, Moses here, some of the point I wanted to say already, but just to make it clear to Alfonso that he must sit there. I did not really say that the police should go move on the women. I will just give you the East End that the action have led to open rebellion and they are infringed on the right.
So what stand you wanted them to take?
Their action was to open rebellion. Okay, that should call that, you know.
So you said the police should take actions. So
yeah, let me first of all,
to have law and order. So that they can
the police to go arrest them. I mean, why? Is that what you think?
No. Also, there were people that traveling all over the country. People, especially the Ralphie Highway, people missed their flight. The police who are going there, maybe to down or to open the road for people to travel peacefully. But that to enforce on law.
Dr. Toto,
the police are going to open the road for people to move freely, which is their fundamental right. If we want to caution the army wide, first of all, did they follow the rule of law? Did they get protests? Did they get a citation to protest for the Justice Ministry or the police? If we want to go by the rule of law, if I want to put all the legal aspects into play, did they get permit to protest or peacefully?
So and the police would have been there to create order of the protest.
Of course, that's important. They got to create order. Those are the points that we try to make.
Exactly.
And number two, Alfonso, for a group of people, I'm not trying to belittle the army wise and whatsoever, but for a group of women or group of people to come up to call on the president that want this person to resign or don't want the person, that's a bad precedent.
Okay.
Very bad.
No, thank you. But I also believe that if the police are shown up, that's exactly what they were looking for, and they would have created a chaos and would have a bad situation in Liberia, and President Baka would have some serious problem. So I do agree on this one. I do agree with the conservatives on this here. Terry, thank you for joining us, and you're going to be one of the, in fact, perfect person here. Because you are one of the strong supporters of Ambassador Baka. What do you think happening right now? What is your take?
I think we'll have somebody with security knowledge now, on the show. I think.
But you can just speak to me from any position that you understand. If you want to talk to me through the Bible on this issue, do so.
Yeah, I think I will come from my background. But like I said, like I was saying to some discussion we were having on our group chat, it's like, first of all, the protest shouldn't have been with blocking roads. That is infringement on the rights. Everybody have said the same thing. And that is infringement on the rights of movement. It also stops business from flowing. Like Mr. Moses said, the role of the army is to protect the state. You can't be blocking road. Your people can demonstrate, they can protest, but you can't be blocking road. Then it shows some level, like some video I saw, I know it was a video or something. I saw one of the girls in the car window. It reminded me about the war,
yes,
with a long stick in her hand. As a military wife, you can't be doing those kind of thing. That is not the code of militarism. I don't know, it didn't show any good signal on Liberia for the new government we just put in. Everybody praising Liberia on international media that, oh yeah, you are a democratic country, you are rule of law. Now, when this particular thing get on the media, international media, and they see the military women protesting in this manner by blocking the roads to major entry into the country, it sends a bad signal about us outside. But equally so, somebody have to take the fall. Somebody got to take the blame. All right? it bogs down. I agree with Mr. Soul when he said the Senate. The Senate, like I was saying on the show the last time, right? The Senate have been confirming people were off fully investigating. The Senate have staffers that are responsible to make research on these people. If you find out that these women have been complaining and the military have been complaining about Prince Johnson, and I agree, Ambassador Burkhardt nominated him. But if these people were complaining and their grievances have reached to a level of where it was uncontrollable, your staffers should have done the best thing to do research and inform the Senate as to what decision they needed to make in order to confirm him for this particular position. So the bad sign on the government now is like President Burkhardt have forced Senator Johnson to resign. And you and I know that is just what happened. Because people will say that is how people would tell it. All these things we're seeing that he's reading, that we did letter that coming, where he said he resigned and he was not under pressure and all of that, it tends to be a mirage. All right? So it does not reflect that the president have control of the government. And that is not a good sign. So I also believe that the president also took the rectable action in his scope of control, because security-wise, it seems that the president have not been briefed on what is going on, because it's like these things happen unaware to the president. So it tells us, it informs us that the president is not fully yet in control of the government. And I want to believe Mr. So says something, even though we don't always agree.
Why are you referencing Mr. So many times tonight?
Well, I just want to give my late Candace's opinion.
No.
He will allow you. That's the problem with him. They do not like to be told the truth.
Go ahead, Terry, finish your statement.
The president also needs to be blamed for this. Why? Because he's not in full control of the government. Why is he not? His pace of nomination is slow. By now, he's supposed to have his entire cabinet set up and be in charge of the situation. In as much he applied the rectable criteria, because he knows that he's not in control. If he had used force today, there would have been a different reaction. If he had used force, and that was what they were waiting for, because they have understood that the president is not in full charge of the government and of the security apparatus, and he made a certain a statement in regards to auditing a major security apparatus when you're not fully in control yet, which is the NSA. And right after that, we're seeing all these kind of things. So there is a political undertone, and it has to do with security operation. So he did the right thing, but he has to be swift enough in making sure that his cabinet sits, or else we might see an erection very soon.
Thank you. I disagree with many of the statements, especially when you contributed your comment to that of conservative on this show. I disagree with it. First thing, let me just say this here. The president did a wonderful job today. If anything is to happen in terms of the defense minister past history, the president, the Constitution. I mean, why you're not looking at this? The Constitution of the Republic of Liberia gave the president to appoint, gave the Senate, another branch of government, to confirm. The Senate should be able to do their own due diligence, and not just.
You want to be a president who will appoint a controversial people?
The LPR is on the floor. It's my show. I'm running it. So the president says these things and submit the need. The people who have the constitutional mandate as well, they're supposed to have done their job. But anyhow, the president did a wonderful job, and not only he's not supposed to do no police business, because he's the father of the nation, and this is what it means to be an indigenous president. This is what it means, because you're coming into this position with the culture on one hand and the democracy on the other hand, and those two can go one hand, and they will be happy to be together. Walter Carter, did I say CDC? Walter Carter, good evening. Welcome on Liberia Radio. We have not seen you in face to face for a very long time. And so, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
What's on your mind?
So I've been listening to the contributor analysts here, and let give a little historicity. I don't agree with anybody who think that this is politically motivated. I think, like some people said, this thing happened under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. It happened under President Weah on a different circumstance, right? And it also happened under Joseph Boakai. When it happened under President Weah, it was because of the army benefits that they alleged that Awahini Brani Samuka took. And that was something that was out there from the get-go of.
What happened?
He's in his car.
They are cities. Ever since they put that you buy new phone here?
He's in the car.
I think somebody calling you.
Phone here. You still using CDC phone?
You better talking to, so you got frozen.
Not ready. You're not ready. CDC, they're not ready. Let me go back to Mr. So. Mr. So, you made a statement, which is a very profound here earlier, about this Mr. Johnson, and I think we're going to move on to the security aspect of it. Mostly going to take us on that. But let me ask you that you made a statement that he made some statement while he was serving, as people wanted him to overthrow. You think if that statement is something to go on, I'm going to be ridiculous here. You think these same people, the fact that he refused their suggestion or their command or whatever it is, now these people are coming back to haunt him?
I have no evidence to say whether there's a correlation into his argument. But my point is the certain army personnel, chief of staff of the armed forces, he has dominion over the military. The chief of staff is a very powerful person. He can potentially lead a military coup in any country. It depends on your rapport. But who are those people he referring to in the first place? He made it known it was not hidden. We saw that, the video here, that people were calling in from America, from back home, texts and all of that. Why he didn't do to call me. So what is he saying? Overthrow for what? I mean, how this conversation came about? Who introduced it, and what was his own input towards this sort of conversation? He, as a military person, when he should protect lives and property, defend the Constitution, protect the president and all of that, only when there is an issue, the military steps in and they are having this sort of conversation. Who introduced this conversation? How come it came into the picture? And when they asked him to overthrow, according to him, his own word, did he report that to his executive? And how soon, how long it took? I'm wondering whether all of these questions were asked. In the midst of that, we saw all of these things happening, and the military wives started complaining. Now, these people too, they play all sort of political games, you know. So I wish they call him at the Senate, but to what extent that the questions, real tough questions, were asked? Who did he tell? Who are those people that are involved? Are they in the country? Are they there now? Is that what he was talking about months ago? Is that what bearing out and playing out now, being transitioned through the military wives? I don't know. So I think it's good the president calls for the investigation. And I think General Johnson needs to explain, needs to tell us more, some of these things that he didn't tell us. Reason why, whether the Senate asking those questions, all of the questions, but I think real question now needs to be asked, and to come and fully exonerate, not just to make a statement he didn't do anything wrong. So why, if you don't do anything wrong, why all of these things were going on? Why people intersect?
Thank you. Let me go to Moses, and Moses, we're going to go around it based on the security implication now. And I want you to take the lead on that because you have that experience, and then perhaps we will follow your footsteps if we agree with you. If we don't agree with you, we will vehemently disagree with you as well. So let me just say,
thank you, Libra. And I think
so let me come to you and lay it out. What are the security implications with respect to all that have happened? And Walter Carter will come back to you. If this is a CDC phone, you got to change it. Go ahead, Moses.
Yeah, I think before I go into the security implications, let me just respond to Brother Souls. And I think he concluded his statement with a very good assertion, and that is questions they need to be asked of Prince Johnson, of previous responsibilities, because his stay create a sense of threat when he was negotiated with, when people were calling him, and I remember that vividly, and that was during the WEA's administration. And he did say that, and it was all broadcast, and some of us tried to question why weren't there any investigation, why weren't there continuing investigation in those allegations made by him. However, hear what it is, folks, and I stated it earlier. The Defense Department and the military, first of all, the men and the women, the wives or the husbands of any military personnel is servicing the nation together. So it's not one person, it's not the men just serving the nation and the women sitting back. If you're married and you're a military wife or a military husband, you're serving equally. You're serving equally, because the benefit that comes to that military person for the sacrifices to make should go to the both of you. And they're always designed for that. I'm not sure how to do it in Liberia, but that's what militarism is. Now, secondly, the threat level was lifted. Liberia is very vulnerable. When you block the Rabafi Highway and you block Douala, the entire city is under siege. And it doesn't take much to do that. It doesn't take much to do that. And I think that's why the embassy put a statement out there. Because if you hold that Monrovia, Maserati County under siege, it creates a national security threat of anyone coming in. Now, with what went on today, any country, neighboring country, could have invaded Liberia, because the military was totally chaotic. They didn't have no control. The commander-in-chief was not in control for that time that it happened. And if the military personnel told their wives to do that, then there's a serious problem with our borders, with our defense system. And that cannot happen in a democracy. That's what the U.S. came up with, the position they took. When you impale on other people's rights, then it's not right for your nation. And you're creating the sentiment that you have total chaos, and it can lead to total anarchy. And we know what anarchy means, and we experienced it for over 13 years. I am of the position that this administration just got in 3 weeks into the administration. There are a lot of investigation. The other piece is that the military wives were right when they sent their petition to the Senate. The Senate, most of the military wives that were there that presented that petition are within Maserati County. The senators from Maserati County that are on this committee should have gone to the constituency. Have town meetings and talk.
We'll come back to you. We'll come back to you, Moses.
One-on-one, but okay, if you come back, that's a security threat that was created.
Thank you.
That anybody outside our nation could come and walk in, and the military would not even defend us. And you don't want to create those kind of atmosphere in a nation of democracy. And just alluding to the fact that we've been praised by everyone for our democracy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I just want to send a word out here. Anyone that wants to speak for a little bit longer time, stay away from praising Mr. Soul. You praise me, you get more time. Let me just go on. That will come to you. Let me get these two, the lady and the gentleman, they just joined us. Let's go back to Sis Carter. Good evening. Welcome back. And thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. But let me go to Walter Carter. Carter, you were speaking earlier when your CDC phone decided to play some $60 billion missing on us business. Go ahead. What were you saying?
So like I was saying, we saw this in President Weah administration from the early stage when the soldier wives came on, and we're talking about some money that I think Brandon Samuka took from them, and they were creating tension. So President Weah had to solve that problem by teaching us some money to them, and later on doing investigation that later found Brandon Samuka culpable. And today, I mean, he's not serving as senator Lofa County. This thing should have been nipped in the bud a very long time. When the people heard that this man were going to retire, and who were going to be the choice to be from the president to be the defense minister, these people aired the grievances. The people went on, they started to talk about it. They went on different social media network. They said, Mr. President, do not nominate this man, neither the Senate should not confirm this man. They told them why they were doing this. It's not a conspiracy. It's the people are agreed. The people know what's going on. I spoke with people from the shuffling barracks, or lady from the shuffling barracks, long before the election. They later told me the kind of condition they live in. She told me the kind of condition they live in the barracks. And I'm like, wow. Now, these people put their lives on the line to protect us. They went abroad to even bring peace to other countries to serve there. You understand? And when they come back home, they got nowhere to stay. They live like animals. And they're supposed to be the one to protect us. And we will sit here and allow sentiment to overshadow us and say that this was politically motivated, or the army should just be, because the army should be the army that doing treatment time. What is it? Obey, obey, obey. Don't speak up for your rights. These people, two families live in a one-bedroom apartment, split. So when you open your room door, you enter my room. They're using a bathroom that when you flush the toilet, if they can flush the toilet, the feces back up into the top. You understand? And people have been talking about it for a very long time. So we cannot dismiss that. We got to understand that service come. Look, when people give their salary, regardless of what, you got to be compensated the best way possible. You can't continue to do this. And I think that way what happened. Let me tell you, Mr. I praise you so I can get a little time. Let me praise you a little bit. You're doing a fantastic job, yeah. You're the best on the show. so let me
Oh my goodness.
Let me say something here. I don't think it was anything to overthrow this government. It was going to cause any big time security if Joseph Walker had acted, and swiftly to listen to the plight of these people. Even the defense minister himself, he was insensitive to the people's plight, calling the people names, and that was sad. I think we should respect, regardless of where you are, respect the people that even put you up there. Because if the army will not honor him, he will not be as far as where he was.
Thank you.
Prior to what happened.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's go to Sis Cotto. Cotto, thank you for coming back, joining us. We appreciate it. Would you care to tell us what is happening in your neck of the wood, or you want to be part of the conversation and discuss what we're discussing? The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Todd, and I'd like to say hi to my brother who just coming on this platform. I don't know, Moses, right? And to the rest of my fellow, panelists. I'm glad to be back, And I have been listening to the background, from the discussion of this army wives issues. I think it has become customary that when a government comes into power, you see a certain group of people, grouping up themselves and trying to create some like identity or some awareness of some group that they are part of. For some of us who know how that group was formed, majority of the people who even identify themselves as being army wives are not. Okay? We see people just finding group just to identify or to be recognized, just so that they can be, seen as in the eyes of the new government as they eye this and that. Okay, and my own disappointment in this was that I did not see any police interference. I don't know, I might not have seen it, it would have happened, but that was my concern. Because I believe we have a police director that was already appointed. Knowing for the way that we do not have a justice minister, I thought wise that a police director who have taken some initiative that I did not see, or even a representative of the Ministry of Justice, because in a case of such, You do not expect the military to easily come in and take a stand, except it go off hand of the police. Then you invite the military to come and take over. But my surprise was I did not see any intervention from the police. That was my disappointment. And again, with the decision made by the president, our president Barkai, I see a mature a government that is just nurture, like a stage of a government. You do not expect a government to start taking some harsh decision that may affect their leadership. And I think it was mature, that he took the stand he took, because at this stage where you are not even completed the listing of your cabinet, issue of such coming up, it is difficult. The moment you start creating chaotic situation, it's going to, downplay your government for some time, and then you have to focus on the irregularities that have been going on. So I think that was the best at the time he took, and I commend him for that. But what I did not like was to cancel the Flag Day occasion. What was happening was that since he decided to establish the investigation team, I thought we had just said, okay, let the investigation team handle your plots, and we have the occasion, going on. But for me, I thought that was not the right thing to have done, to cancel the Flag Day program.
Okay.
And I think that was just that. But I'm glad to see you guys again. It's been a good while.
Yeah, we're glad to see you guys.
Otto, that was the wise
Yes.
decision for the president. The crises were already ongoing, so there's no way that that program should be executed. So that
Mr.
was
So,
Yes,
Cotto is not on the
that's why I
witness
said
stand.
it was the best thing that he did.
Cotto, I'm
So-
running the show. I am running the show, and the fact you didn't praise me, your time is over. Let me go to that.
Mr.
that-
So,
that Donald Trump-
you are my own bully.
Oh, okay,
I'm my own bully, right?
let Cotto finish your statement.
Yes.
Oh,
So
my goodness. This is ridiculous.
What
Sounds
Mr.
silly.
So is saying, you have another branch of government that the issue was taken to. I think what they did to ignore the plight of the women at the time, especially with the legislature, that is not the responsibility of the president. The people took their issue to the legislature. That was their responsibility to handle the situation. And they did not tell the president not to appoint that man. The appointment was already made before the issue came out. So it's not the responsibility of the president to have taken any decision then. It was only after then, when it came to when the program should be held and it came out, that automatically became the responsibility of the president. But like I said, my disappointment was the president should have been the last person to even make decisions. There should have been some intervention before the president's decision would have come in. Thank you, Mr. So. Mr.
Thank
So,
you.
thank you also for giving me the time.
Yeah, that's okay. Let me go to Doc, and then after that we'll open the line. But let me ask you this, Doc, on a very serious note. The fact that we have yet to have a justice minister. You think the police director, who already been confirmed, were in constant contact with the president, seeking guidance, and perhaps the president is saying, well, I don't want the police to be involved. We will handle this based on what we know and how we're going to engage. You think that kind of conversation was happening in the background?
No,
Is that why we didn't see the police presence on ground as well?
Yeah, definitely. I doubt it. I think the whole military apparatus, the police and the other national security, I think they all fear the president. I don't think they gave the president the right advice, the way he wished things were handled today in Liberia. I think that's the reason why the president came, or the president not really addressed the issue, say as somebody was the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Liberia. The president's statement was more kind of political in terms of real or somebody in charge of security that was speaking. So I don't think the president was ready to give you good briefing for the security aspect of it. And also too, if you look at like Terry what Terry was saying, the slow pace of appointment in government had created a little bit of downward in the performance of the president. We have a whole lot of vacuum, especially in the security apparatus. Those positions have been failure. It's an open year. So it kind of a huge error that the government need to really focus on, especially the president, when it comes to making the type of key decisions. So these are still open. So like Cotto was saying, I said my initial state, I think we are seeing some positive reaction from the police, but that will go there with force. And which will have been so bad, but at least to be able to calm down the situation. There were people that travel from point A to point B, who know people may be sick, you cannot get to the hospital, or traveling out of the country, you cannot get on their flight. Therefore, we expect the police to go in to create a little bit of calm, to talk to the wives, to open the road so goods and services can move on. So this thing was not really done because this thing have been accepted that we are afraid. And there's another protest that in the making from our sources, remedy of the CDC. They say that the
Don't go start, we'll throw down the side, man. Don't worry about that.
They say 100 days. All the promises that President Obama made within 100 days, if you don't see it, they can be also. So
who are they to protest about 100 days? Dr. Toto, let's talk. Who are they to talk about 100? What
they have
or moral ground
those are the big concern on Libra. Just before I leave, I see other character leave. He said pro GOL. He said the government of Liberia. You pro that.
Don't marry man. Huh? Okay, let me take this call out. Another CDC here.
Mr. Tor, I just want to say a couple of words, if I could.
Okay, hold on, Moses. Let's take this call up. We'll make it very brief. Caller, go ahead. Make it very brief. We got a lot of people online here. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening to everyone. This is Breakable Power.
Thank you. Yeah, Breakable, go ahead. You got 1 minute, please.
You know, I keep saying this. I called the other time. I said LPR-TV is not enough for corruption, anything. But when people backing wrong things, these are the problem like something like that. Back why you believe it, or back why because in your favor you support it. Did I hear somebody talking about protest not good or this other one not good? Or talking about look at Terry talking about the president y'all can't empower not even the president that control the government. You talking about getting control of the government when he's campaigning for 6 years as an opposition? You won elections 2 months. You won election. You know you're going to take control of the government. 3 weeks now, say you become president. You know what he's going to do to control the government? I mean, look, and you're going to twist that the blame part, you're twisting the blame part will accept it. If you say that CDC on the ground, that will protesting, that black the road, everything that opposite will accept it. But we know this government, from the day we enter that power, we know. You got not kind power with correct motive. You're keeping power because of your for power, not for the Liberia. Okay. You use a slogan of rescue. And now Liberia fall for. You're fully know that you're not keeping power to rescue nothing. Okay. You're keeping to do what you want to do to get your money. Okay. So it's not strange thing. Okay. Thank you for the show.
Thank you for your comment. Terry, let Moses give us a few seconds and then Terry can come in. Go ahead.
Please. And I can't say thank you to Cotto enough for her knowledge and what she said. But I just want to speak to what she closed with the police. The policing duty is to protect and serve the citizens of a constituency or of a country. In the name of in the area, we have only one police, folks. One police.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, hold on. We'll come to you. Somebody's on.
We have only one police entity, and that police entity is the police, the citizens, and police work is never completed without collaboration with the citizens. So The police could have really gotten involved without even getting an order from the president. It's their responsibility and their duty to do that because they swore to protect the citizens and the Constitution. When you take an oath as a police officer, it's an institution. It's not an appointed position where when a new government take over, you have to leave. It's an institution that provide, and that's why I was really baffled by the fact that law enforcement personnel in Liberia were wearing political paraphernalia. Because yes, they have the right to vote, but they cannot politicize their duties. And I think the police could have done something to come up and put some order in place. Speaking of the Ministry of Justice, back in the day, it was one guy that called Edwin Luzon.
Are you talking to me?
No, let the guy finish. Yeah, Moses, I got to take this caller. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was one day, and there was a police officer, a police chief who said that the police.
You talking to me?
No, not yet.
Justice.
Okay.
So that it could be an independent body under, and now we know that everywhere in the world, police is under the Public Safety Commission, which means that there's a line of demarcation. They got special duty. They don't need to get order from the Department of Justice to go out there and exercise their duty after taking an oath to protect and serve the country. They could have done something to alleviate some of the problems.
Thank you, Mose. Okay, let's go to the caller, and then we'll go to Terry. Go ahead, caller. What's on your mind? Liberia Public Radio.
All right, so are you talking to me?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, so this is John here, and it's always a pleasure to call on this program to make a contribution. I'm still at school, but I would just call, just to talk for like a few seconds.
Yeah,
I think this was the best decision today. A very good, and I'm very happy. I'm proud that I supported a decent state president, somebody who has worked for a long time in government. He understands what it means to look at a specific situation and be able to handle it. The decision was consultative. If you listen to the president, they even consulted the U.S. Embassy, they consulted ECOWAS, they consulted with the EU and all that. This, whatever happened today was not something that you'd have expected the president to allow the Armed Forces Day celebration to have gone on. You saw how the event occurred from different regions of Monrovia in the context. So you could have allowed this to go on. And like I said the last time, you still have not finished making 4 appointments of your national security team. The Ministry of Justice is not yet complete. You don't have that. You don't have the NSA in full swing. You don't have the Ministry of Defense Justice, LIS. So all of these things are still happening. The security system is still very fragile. So until we can have this system under control, we have to take it little by little. And I think the president made a very wise decision today. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. This is one of the best statements of the evening. This guy, he's very smart. This young man that just spoke, very smart, very intelligent.
Lord.
Us that we didn't have to wait until Sunday for God to touch the president, had to go and preach in the church and then perhaps speak about this. Let me go to Terry. Terry, Breakable call your name, and they like a Breakable, because that's who they are. They're sedition, and they break things, and we try to fix it. What do you make of him calling your name and saying, let me leave it with you. Go ahead.
Well, I don't want to respond to Breakable because, we already know who Breakable is. However, the security was on the ground, says Cotto. When Jeremiah Kuhn was flying yesterday, Gregory Coleman himself.
Liberia Public Radio?
We'll come to you. Hold on. I will call you when I'm ready. Somebody is speaking, please. Go ahead, Terry.
So Gregory Coleman was there, and he made sure to negotiate, and that was how Jeremiah Kuhn passed through. But the place where the government failed, that where I want to blame this, I want to blame the second dimension, this particular crisis that prevented the anniversary celebration of the armed forces of Liberia.
Yep.
I will blame this on the president, in as much as it may not look good, but I want to blame this on him, and I believe he did the right thing by turning it around. Jeremiah Kuhn told the people that they should allow him to pass, and within 24 hours,
we'll come to you. Somebody's on the floor speaking. When they finish, I'll come to you. Just hold on.
Within 24 hours, they will get a redress.
Okay.
Try to settle some of the dispute. So apparently,
Terry, if you can write down your point, let me run down the
go ahead. Sure.
The caller here, and then we're gonna wrap it up. A lot of people are calling in tonight. I don't know why, because the Liberal is running the show, of course. So let me go ahead. So guys, just sit tight. We'll come to you, and then in your wrapping statement, you can wrap everything up. Let me do the caller. 2442 number. 2442 number. Yeah.
Good evening.
Yeah,
my name is Chokon.
Yeah, hold on, guys. Somebody, okay, those of you that are on the line, if you're not speaking, mute yourself, please. Can you mute yourself? And then when I'm ready for your number, you can unmute yourself, please.
Are you talking to 2442?
Yeah, 2442. Everybody that online, can you mute yourself? Can you guys mute yourself? Okay, 2442, go ahead. 2 seconds. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Chokon.
Thank you.
And I call from North Dakota.
Okay.
What happened today with the ASL issue? I think Governor will take the greater responsibility, no matter what time he has spent in office. He's a commander-in-chief. Even if he consult with ECOWAS or international partner, he should take control of the situation. To have a defense minister that was rejected by the people, and they send it when and confirm that man, the wise thing he was to do to recall him, not even to allow him to resign. I think you have to ease the tension. Then we are going to have a good program and set up a committee to go ahead and investigate. From the outside, the people said they didn't want that guy to help that department. If we all agree, this army these days is not the army of the days where Gabriel White Johnson used to be in the barrel and detained. These guys are already read what belongs to them. They know the way in which we go about stuff. But he could not intervene at all because they knew the law.
Thank you.
That's what I have to say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Escobar, go ahead. You're next in line.
Hey, Mr. Pro, how you doing?
Oh, good evening. Good evening. Thank you. Make it brief for us, please.
Okay, on the issue tonight, I happened like unfortunately tonight, one of the discussion. To me, the person make a sound decision in this whole something here. Because the very first thing that we should look at the Senate, you had a Senate on defense, which is a Momo. There was elected senator from local county. And Momo Sarah went and had a meeting with the AFL wife. And then we put all of these demands because listen to sponsor and that demand of the don't want the defense minister on number 8. If you brought it into the Senate because he presided over the confirmation, why getting the play that they make out demand low and they allow the men to go through a confirmation? So to me, the Senate should be held responsible, number one, understanding, but the president make a rightful decision. Besides the president, the reason why it take that long, the president made a quick decision because the president was looking at Allah, we is MDR. Because the recommendation of the defense minister and the justice minister came from MDR. So the person was in a very critical situation to make that kind of quick decision to say, okay, I'm recording the man here. But the Senate on defending that when that sat with the women that had a meeting to me, he was being able to get to tell the police that all the men should not be confirmed. But they sat down and they put the president and made the president know, okay, to the Liberian to me, the president made a very good decision that saved the nation today. That's it, everyone. Oh, thank you, Mr. Tool.
Thank you. You're very smart. You're always very smart on this show, and we like when you call. Please continue to call. Thank you. See, I don't be around the bush when they come here and make some real good statement. Come and say something which is in line with my liberal view. I will praise them. Go ahead, caller. You're next in line. Go ahead. You'll be the last caller anyway. Go ahead.
Okay, good evening, panelists and Mr. Toe.
Thank you for calling.
Okay, I was coming to show. I think the last thing I listened to was Mr. Wilton. He mentioned something about sanitation and backup sewage. And I began to say, if you be having something like that in existence for a couple of years and decide to bring it up now, everybody have a plumber. In that barrier, the guys normally visit these issues. So my question would be, who is not doing what up to this time? And with the issue of moving this guy from office, it was something sensitive, and what the president did was right. I mean, Ms. Cotto just laid the icing on the cake. When I came in and listened to everything she said, I'm like, wow. I didn't even take the consideration that why the police was missing and all of that, but by listening to her, I'm like, yes, that makes sense. Actually, the police have all right to exercise some understanding to guide these ladies with the issue back into the barrier where they can channel things properly that we can have a resolve. But reaching to the fact that the president will have to consult international partners to get a decision fixed whatsoever, because both ends of the aisle was not present.
Okay. Go ahead, finish. Yeah. Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, are you still there? Or just...
Hello?
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Go ahead, make a point. Somebody drop off. Go ahead. The person making an excellent point, praising the lady on this show, the very smart and resilient lady on the show, and the people listen to her and they know that she's very smart and intelligent. And I like that when they point that out. Go ahead, my friend. Go ahead.
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your name?
Yes.
What's on your mind?
There is Benedict Wieser.
Oh. Okay.
Yes, I'm calling from New York. Look.
That would be Mama Musa, I would suppose.
Yes.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for joining us on LPR Public Radio. Yes, thank you for calling. Go ahead. What's on your mind, sir?
Okay. There is a very good, interesting topic. What happened is just before, right after the election, when it was confirmed that Mr. Barker had won an election, I began to make the point that he was slow in making, forming his administration, appointing cabinet officers, officials to positions and security positions, all those things. Because you have to consider that the moment that you have taken over the country, you must be in a position to act without any ambivalence. Because if he had placed all his people into positions, perhaps he was not going to hesitate to make a decision when in an area where the security of the country, as we have not seen, is threatened by developments unexpected by people. So I think he should be able by now to have completed at least 95% of his cabinet's appointments. Because you don't want to put yourself in a position where you become ambivalent in taking actions to save, protect the security of the states. And I think that's why he's proceeding with cautiousness, because he doesn't know who in government is loyal to him from the former administration, or who is loyal to him among people who are competing for certain positions.
Thank you. Thank you. But Mama Musado, before you leave, first of all, I also want to say here publicly, thank you for your service, because those of us that consider ourselves Monreal people, you guys really, really kept us alive, and I really want to take the opportunity to thank you very much. But I hope we will do something show with you here, and other people like Solomon Sipley and the rest of the folks. We all are getting a little bit older from time to time, so I think perhaps if we can have some sort of a video documentary on our conversation, will be very helpful. But I'll be in touch with you. Thank you very much. Do you have anything else you want to talk about or something?
No. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to speak on your show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. That would be our last caller. Of course, I don't like IE, but that was Mama Musa, one of the Italian soccer.
Sir, that's my team.
Yeah, that's my team.
Why I beg you? I talk about Mama Musa. He was for Barrow before he came to here. So don't start that my team business.
In the past.
No, he was for Barrow, and then we say, okay, we borrow you. That way he can't save you. But anyhow, let's go ahead, guys. Let's take 1 minute or so around the room and close this, because we got to get out of here in about 15 minutes. We're on time, please. Can I
go first? Can I go first?
Okay, let's start. The last come first to go. Let's start with Sis Cotto. Sis Cotto, I'm very glad to bring you back again tonight. I think the entire process is buzzing because of your smart, your wittedness, and the way you approach issue. It's been recognized here by one of the audience, the caller here tonight. But thank you, and we appreciate it. Well, go ahead and close it for us. Give us your closing. Make it a little brief so that we'll have time to talk.
Thank you, Mr. To. This is what we tell people, for some of us who have played in politics, that it's time to run campaign and it's time to run government. I've been a supporter of President Barkai. I'm not sitting here to mix my words even in my support towards him. Unlike the other side, everything that the president did was right. But we like to tell our people on the other side that in as much as I supported Ambassador Barkai and President Barkai right now, I still will pinpoint things that he didn't do right. And I just want for Liberians, because I heard Becky was saying, because his government is not in power now, he expects other people to misbehave on this government. And this is the mistake we are making. In as much as I did not elect George Weah, I did not favor his government. I did not do anything evil or incite other people against the president. The mistake we make is, I don't know, we think that the president is somebody's attachment. It is everybody's president. Let us not, come on, when the president does wrong, you have the right to say the president have done wrong. Equally so, when the right thing is done, also commend the person for the right thing. But in the process of tearing our country down, it is affecting all of us. I'm just coming from Liberia. In as much as this new president is in power, the effect of the bad governance is affecting our people right now as we are in this new government. And as we even see, the problem that is arising is from the past government. But I thank God that the president did not say it's from the past government. I'm going to ignore it. He decided to investigate. And I just want to say thank you, and to thank all of those in Liberia that will have to take their time to listen to this program. When I was in Liberia, I could not, because the time difference, in Liberia at this time is really difficult. And I want to commend all of those in Liberia that really take up their time to listen to the LPR, because it's actually, to do that, it means we are making a great sacrifice to this institution. I want to say thank you, and I really appreciate what you guys do to listen to us. And thank you, guys. I'm so happy to be in your midst tonight, and we'll continue to make my lay points too as time goes on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. LPR.
Mr. So.
I said the queen. I'm pressing her. Well, problem tonight.
Okay, you're praising. Okay, you're praising her. Guys, praise us some more. Yeah.
The queen.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Let's come to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So
One second. You got 1 second.
Mr. To, you are the best. You know you're the best presenter.
Oh God.
Yeah. So this is the thing here, right? I think this thing should have been nipped in the bud from the get-go. I think it should have been put to rest. We should not even be here today discussing this thing if the president would have listened to his people. And there's another thing looming over this government again about appointment. We hear Francis Nimadi. The people are even saying that this man should not pass as internal affairs minister. And these are things that we'll discuss. Maybe moving on this week, we'll discuss it here because there will be protestation against him. And the President Bouaka should be wise in his appointment. Another thing is President Bouaka says something in his speech that we didn't discuss in the entire speech. He says something in his speech that people committed heinous crime in the army and they were put out, but they were re-enlisted. And they are going to investigate and we're going to get to those people. I hope he does not use these people protests to witch hunt people in the army because it will be a sad thing for Liberia. Right now, the people are saying that welfare, the condition they live in is poor. They're not saying it because they want to overthrow. They're not saying it because they say the condition are poor because of the inaction of the former chief of staff and the former defense minister. They don't want him. As soon he sent a letter of resignation in, the people left the street. The street were calm and everything. Just to tell you that it has no political motivation, nothing. They just wanted this man to be out. And I think the president should be wise not to witch hunt the military by looking for people who he think or who people are not giving information that are responsible for this protestation, that he would discipline them or take them off the army. That would be something sad. And today something happened at his house that we didn't talk about, and it's dangerous.
So we'll discuss that tomorrow.
I don't get it, Mr. Toyi, Mr. Soyi, let me just get the information.
Yeah, but because we gotta get out of here in 5 minutes.
No. 2 seconds. We saw the likes of Joshua Bly Botneke carrying a group of men, former rebel generals, to the president's house and say they are the rescue general, they are the rescue protector. That is a sad
Thank you. We'll deal with that. Thank you, Carter. Thank you. Let me go to Terry. Terry, please make it brief as well.
All right. No, to never annoy man. But anyway, we gotta speak truth to power.
You praise so too much.
To be honest with you, if we don't speak truth to Pape Bouaka, we will be no different from the seditionists who told President Weah that he was doing good all the time until he failed.
Speak, Terry.
That is the reason why we are here. I would not allow my Pape to fail. So I would tell him the truth. And the truth is, he is to be blamed for what? For me, I'm not blaming him for nominating Prince Johnson because he didn't know what all was surrounding issues. But I'm blaming him for this particular day, for it not to be held. How you call it, the Armed Forces Day. Because Jeremiah Kuhn, that's what I was trying to explain. Jeremiah Kuhn negotiated with the people, and the protesters opened the way for him to go and travel. And he gave the people his word that we will address this issue within 24 hours. I think there's a feedback, somebody on the line maybe. But he said that they will address the issue within 24 hours. Apparently, Ambassador Bouaka did not get back to the people within time. You understand? To negotiate so that this particular thing could subside. I believe if Ambassador Bouaka would have gotten involved and say, my people will handle the thing, let us just have this program. The lady said that the president told them, the vice president told them that they would get back to them, but they did not get back to them, and 24 hours had elapsed. So we have to take all of these things into consideration. And Gregory Coleman was there. That Gregory Coleman talked to the people they all have for the VP to go through. But what I admire about the president is the swiftness for him to be able to put things under control and right away. That is where I would give it to him. But he can learn from this and he can seize the moment. And how can he seize the moment? He can make sure that the army come under his control. In the time when people are vulnerable, you who come to the aid who the first person that comes to the aid, they will submit to you. So right now, the army is vulnerable. It is his responsibility now to do the right thing and make sure that he sees this moment so that he can seize grip on the army. Because a head of state that does not have adequate control over the military and the security apparatus is not a head of state at all. He's not a head of state at all. Anything can happen at any given time. And there are pending protestations that are going to go on. If we hide the truth from Ambassador Burger and don't tell him now, he will think that all is well. Oh yeah, Ambassador Burger, you did the right thing, you did that. Meanwhile, when other danger come ahead that will cause an insurrection, we will be the same people to come on the show and say, oh, but Ambassador Burger should have done this, he should have done that. So that is why I will advise most security guys with a background in the area of security and all of that, to advise the president and to give, information in regards to what can he do to not cause for this similar occurrence to occur again. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's go to Dr. Toto, and then we'll have Mose, and then Mr. So will take us home. Doc, go ahead.
Yeah, let me say this here. This is a very good discussion tonight. And I think the president demonstrated a good leadership to handle the situation today. And also, like I said earlier on, my disappointment was the infringement of right by the soldier wife to Black Road to stop the movement of goods and services and people from one location to another location. And the police did not move in to help them calm down the situation. And we are seeing over West Africa, we are seeing issue with military, with coup in West Africa and also East Africa. So I think the soldier want to use their wealth in that direction to kind of put fear in his government or in the state that other things that happen in other West African countries, if at all we don't do something for us in Liberia, we may try to create some kingdom because all eyes are on the military. And like I said, Liberia face so many challenges. The military are not the only group of people in Liberia that facing challenges. The police, the immigration, other security department are all facing challenges. Should their wealth come out to protest? Also, the street, like in Liberia, Richard, like I said, I went to the police academy to see your friend. To the police academy, if you go there, that place is so deplorable. Look at the police academy. And that's just one of the barrier in other places. So if they women there come outside speaking or two, like so many protests, like terror talking about penny coming, the government have to really be strong how to deal with the situation. Or else we'll have a lot of sweeping protests will be coming on in that country and the government going to yield to it. So they need to strengthen the security apparatus in all sectors, not just the army.
Thank you. All right, Moses, go ahead, make a brief, and then Mr. So can take us.
Thank you, Libra, and thanks for the opportunity. It's nice meeting you, Kato. I think I need to get your number so we can talk offline, because that Balayan name is somewhat related to us in Lofa. So I need to talk to you. Anyway, this is a very interesting conversation. The president has the privilege to appoint, and the Senate have the right to confirm or reject. If the Senate have listened to the people's voices, we would not be in the position we're in today, because they will have gone to the constituents, gotten more information on what was being shared with them, and they could have rejected him, and we would not be in the position today. From the security aspect, first I must commend the president for what he did, getting this under control, because it could have gone anywhere. Right. Under the theme of security, we were facing serious national security threat. We faced serious national security threat. And when you come up with national security threat, that means the country could have been very chaotic and totally out of control, and no one, and you will have anarchy again. And we don't want to create those positions. The gentleman who was just here, Winton, and talking about, and the doc alluded to people who are planning 100 days and all of that. The security apparatus, the only thing I would appeal to them to do, they need to start gathering some intelligence on how best they can, given that we don't have the sophistication at this time, but those things, they need to get to work. And most of those information needs to be scrutinized, and we need to really find out what's going on behind the scenes. The fishermen last week were saying they wanted to block the roads because the prices for their fishing permit went up from 4,000 Liberian to 450 US. There was what you call it, a publication on Facebook that said that this administration is looking to raise the tuition at the University of Liberia from whatever it is to $7 per credit. And if they do that, they're going to take the street. These are intelligence gathering time for the security apparatus. They need to start taking these things. When someone say, I'm gonna chunk you, I'm gonna hit you with a rock, they already got the rock in their hands.
That's true.
They already got the rock in their hands. And we really need to understand that, you know, you guys, given that the security reform came in through the UN, but the UN again said Liberia was not capable of securing itself in subsequent documents that were published after they provide all the fundings and provide all the resources. So we're still at this point, and that we need to really commend the president today for what he did to calm this issue and to really not get it out of control, because they could have gotten out of control seriously. It could have seriously gotten out of control. But the people of Liberia are resolved and don't want no instability. And that's why a lot of people did not take the street today to follow their women or their mothers, their wives, their sister, to create any sense of chaos. So I must commend the Liberian people for exercising some level of restraint as well. But the police need to really protect the citizens and protect the nation.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. I mean, we have to get out of here. So let's try, next time, let's try to be precise in our closing. Mr. So, go ahead. You got 5 hours.
Well, you're having a bad night here, so you kind of try to rush shove stuff in people's throat here. So when is that a low-fi union? Moses wants to form LPR?
No, I just saw the last name coming from Sando.
Okay, yeah, the Liberal too. Now he moved to Lo-Fi anyway. Look, Terry is quite on point. Do not be like this Liberal. The Liberal doesn't like the president. He came here, started with his talking point. We all want our country to succeed, and the success of the country comes with the conduct of the government, and that is the president of the Republic of Liberia. So Mose here talking a tabata, the president just said that 3 weeks. Come on, if gunfires across the border from Cote d'Ivoire, Sierra Leone, I'm not going to hold Josh. We are responsible. It is the president of the Republic of Liberia. He is the commander-in-chief of the Republic of Liberia and should take charge. So as long as that hand was raised, that I do solemnly swear to protect and defend, just start giving these excuses. Don't be like the Liberal. We are talking about Liberia. This thing started. And I just thought people need to start deceiving our leaders. And this is where the problem comes from. All of these sycophants, they want to be beyond the old man. It's just all they want to get. You need to be honest and raise your finger in a respectful manner. Hey, Pape, I think we need to have a second thought. The video is here. Those people went to Capitol building and they told these people, these lawmakers, they are the problem in our country, the first branch of government. They should know better.
Thank you.
See what they're doing. All of them so fake people, they act like they're so honest. They're ridiculous.
For that.
Huh?
Why are you blaming
that was something where he said, I don't agree with Kaluba in some of his utterances, but this is why he talks to them. These people went there Liberal, on a serious note, and this lady, the woman start complaining that if this guy is confirmed, this is what's going to happen. The action today, what we saw, I never slept last night, up to almost 4 o'clock this morning. I was telling you about a video from Grand. It was sporadic. And when you see something that is sporadic, it means it was well planned, orchestrated, calculated. These military wives, why you think they took Bowman Bridge? Why you think they took
strategic positions? That's military strategy.
You're talking about people right like the total. The essence of a protest is to paralyze stress government. When you protest, this is when you protest. Even like Cote d'Ivoire, when they write a protest, they don't go to Abidjan alone. Yamoussoukro, Bouaké, Daloa, no BBC. You protest so that you will stress government, make government to put in resources that they do not have. They don't have the capacity to do that. And bottom line is to get an immediate result of what you are protesting for. Their ultimate goal was to not to confirm this guy, that they were not going to allow. If you listen to some of the video, they were saying. Later on from Boy, they start passing other people and say, you know what? If this guy, if it continues, the next day we're going to go to Ambassador Boyka. Policemen will go arrest military. Why? Are you killing me? These people, it was planned. The military themselves could not get involved because there was a strong violations of the military code of conduct, which could lead them to a court martial or whatever it is. But we have seen all over the world, military people, wives, the protest. I'm happy that the president took a decision, but he was late in taking that decision. He should have avoided it in the first place. Terry is right. So he needs to step up his game to take charge to conduct the affairs of that nation.
You
didn't listen to people like Samson told.
You were never with us. You are never with us. We're not going to listen to you now. So please.
The liberal.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, Mr.
Tomorrow is this alliance. I know I'll talk to you off record. The liberal.
Oh, you did a good something with the liberal now?
You did a good job.
Bribe me now.
You want to bribe the liberal now?
And Terry is coming back home. Terry, keep on the good work.
No, Terry not coming to you. Terry, just something happened somewhere. We always talking behind the scene.
Liberal. Somebody have to take responsibility, and the person that's supposed to take responsibility is the head. Just what we're going to do. Let us do it. That's why he's supposed to take responsibility.
Terry, he took responsibility. That's why he put an investigation.
That's what I'm saying. He was
all right, guys. We will not relitigate.
Military weapon across the line. Military weapon across the line.
Mr. Soul, thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Liberal having a bad night.
One quick thing. One quick thing. Thanks for recognizing Benedict Wise. He doesn't like to be called Mama Musa. That's my big brother. I play ball with him too. But I think the proposal to bring some of those guys on board on Liberian Public Radio would be an excellent idea so they can talk about their contribution, because a lot of our people don't know what those guys did for that nation.
Yeah.
I
had him on here before.
Yeah.
We had a conversation for almost 2 hours.
Yeah,
and that was the only time. But this time around, I will try to convince him if he can get people like Abonat, Gray, and the older folks.
Philip Clark.
Yeah.
They try to get Ben recording.
Ben Collins, everybody. Yeah, I will try to see if we can get them. And I will tell you, a lot of people will be interested. They're interested in getting you guys. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you, Moses. Thank you, Mr. So. Good night.
Good night.
Again, folks, Samson told Liberian Public Radio, I want to thank all of you again that tuned in tonight and watch the show. Because of you, the show is always beautiful. We want to thank you very much. Let us also continue to pray for one another, because God is good and God is real and God is with us. We believe in Him. He will help us. He's the only backbone. Man cannot be your backbone. God, Jesus Christ. Trusting him, and everything is possible. With that, I'll say thank you very much. I will be back again. Mr. So going to have a special program tomorrow where he will invite other people to have his show. And then we will be back on Wednesday. And then Thursday, of course, we'll be back. And then next week, hopefully we will start our technical program like I said we wanted to do. So thank you very much. And I'll say good night to all of you. It's been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening. We'll say what? Good night, folks.